Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. So just like the Isle of Armor, the Crown Tundra has reintroduced about 100 Pokemon that previously were unobtainable by any means in Sword and Shield. Now if you remember, shortly after the Isle of Armor released, I did a video showing you 10 shinies that you should be hunting on the Isle of Armor. We also did one for the base game as well. So if you haven't seen either of those videos yet, the links for both of them will be in the description down below. And following the pattern of those videos, today I'm going to be showing you 10 shinies that you should be hunting for in the Crown Tundra. Now, if you are watching this video before Saturday, November the 28th, you have caught it at the right time, because on Saturday, November the 28th, I am going to be hosting a community shiny hunt live over on my Twitch channel. The theme for the hunt will be Pokemon returning in the Crown Tundra, so if you would like to join us for that, but you don't really have an idea what to hunt for, hopefully this video can give you some help. Enough of me blabbing, let's get into our list. So the first Pokemon on our list is Auroras. Auroras is one of the two Gen 6 fossil Pokemon that returned on the Crown Tundra. Now there's a couple different locations where you can hunt for Auroras. You can hunt for Auroras as a strong spawn if you like. There are a few different locations where you can find Auroras as a strong spawn, and I'll show you them now. This is the first one. This is right next to the the farming plot where you plant the carrot if you're going for the ice carrot and the ice horse. There's a strong spawn Auroras right over here. This can also be a Frostlass. So if it's a Frostlass and not an Auroras, you'll need to go to one of the other two locations that I'll show you now. The second location is right here at the entrance to the cave that takes you to the top of the tundra. Right now it's a Metang, but it can also be an Auroras instead. If the location that you're going to does not have an Auroras, or when we get into some of the Pokemon later on this list, if it's not the strong spawn that you're looking for, it's just because of the weather. The way that the spawns rotate in the Crown Tundra is a little bit more... it's a little bit different than how they've rotated in the the Isle of Armor and the main wild area. So there's going to be a link in the description down below that has that's a link to a Cerebi page that gives you a bunch of information on the different weather conditions that make the different Pokemon spawn in all of the different locations. So again, if this is the location that you're hunting it, and it's a Metang and not an Auroras, then you'll just have to check the weather information on Cerebi for either a different location or a different date that has the correct weather for Auroras to spawn here instead of Metang. And here is the third location. There's an Auroras right here. This is one of the areas where Articuno will fly to. It's right down the... there's a little path that takes you into this area from the cave up there. You can see it right there. That's where the Metang spawn was. But yeah, there's an Auroras strong spawn here as well. Alternatively, if you do not want to hunt for the strong spawn Auroras and you want to hunt for the Amora instead and then just evolve it, Amora will spawn as an overworld spawn in any grass patch where the ground underneath it is snowy like this. So anywhere on the snow slide slope, in the areas around Freezington, and right where you enter the tundra as well from the train station, it's all snowy. Any of those grass patches can spawn Amora as a overworld spawn, and it will spawn in any weather condition. It does not matter. Alright, so the next Pokemon on our list is the other Gen 6 fossil Pokemon. We're going to show you where to get Tyrantrum. I just got to dodge these spawns here, because this is the third time I've had to do this take. So, Tyrantrum can be found as a strong spawn all around the Balamere Lake area. This is the area that surrounds the big bird tree right there. So, the first location where you can find a Tyrantrum strong spawn is right here on the tip of this peninsula. There's a Tyrantrum strong spawn here. And then there's a bunch of other locations heading down the pathway here, right around to where the bird tree is, where you can find Tyrantrums. Again, they're all going to be weather dependent, based off of, you know, the weather's going to determine what spawns. So here's another Tyrantrum. As we continue to head down this way towards the bird tree, there's actually another Tyrantrum spawn right over here through the grass. I just want to go around because I don't want to hit the Lanoons. There's another Tyrantrum strong spawn right down here. And then if we head in front of the bird tree to this little ramp that takes you right up to where the big tree is, there is another Tyrantrum strong spawn right here. So right now it is overcast in the Balamir Lake area, and that gave me all 4 of those strong spawn locations to be Tyrantrum. So I believe overcast is the optimal weather, but if you're just going to do 1, which is probably the most optimal just because of the space between them, it's better to probably just do 1 and then soft reset. It doesn't really matter what the weather is doing because there will always be a Tyrantrum here, and now this one's coming after me. One thing you'll want to keep in mind about Tyrantrum is that if you do find a Tyrantrum that is under level 66, it will know Thrash. It learns Thrash at level 42, and the other moves, it learns Earthquake at 48, Horn Drill at 54, Giga Impact at 60, and Head Smash at 66. So if it's under level 66, there's a very good chance that it is going to know Thrash, so it can end up damaging itself if it hits itself in confusion. So you'll want to keep that in mind. If you see that it's under level 66, do not false swipe it, because you then risk it killing itself due to confusion from Thrash. The next Pokemon on our list is Aerodactyl. Now, the easiest Aerodactyl to find is you fly to Snow Slide Slope, and you just follow the path that I'm about to take. You basically just hug the left side here of the cliff, and you just keep following it until it takes you right to an Aerodactyl strong spawn. Now, the other Aerodactyl locations, there are a couple others, but they are so far away from here that you're better off just saving at this location, or any of the locations rather, and just soft resetting. It's also a little bit annoying because it's flying, so you can't just like bike into it. You also cannot do the V method, where you basically change the date and then you roll back so that you save right on top of the strong spawn. Because it's in the air, it is going to be a little annoying, so you're going to have to like ding your bell every single time you want to encounter it, so it is going to be a little bit frustrating. You can Masuda method Aerodactyl if you like, but if you do not like Masuda method, which is totally understandable, this is the best way that you'll be able to hunt for an Aerodactyl. One thing to keep in mind about Aerodactyl is that it can learn Takedown at level 40, but you shouldn't have to worry about that. When you hunt Aerodactyl here, it should have the moveset of Stone Edge, Agility, Hyper Beam, and Giga Impact. It learns those moves at levels 45, 50, 55, and 60 respectively, so it should not have Takedown, but that is just something to be aware of. Alright, the next Pokemon on our list is Metagross. Now, there's a couple different ways that you can hunt for Metagross. You can hunt for the strong spawn directly. There is a strong spawn right outside of the Regice Temple, right over here. The only time this is not a Metagross strong spawn is if it's Intense Sun. If it's Intense Sun, it will be a Magmortar, but I believe in every other weather condition, this will be a Metagross. Alternatively, if you do not want to go for the strong spawn Metagross itself and you want to hunt a Beldum, there are a bunch of Beldums that will spawn in the grass all around this area in right by the Regice Temple and all up the Snow Slide Slope. Now, the problem with Beldum is that it does have a very, very low catch rate. So there's a couple of things that you can do to help improve your odds when you're trying to catch a Beldum specifically. Beldum only knows Tackle, so it will have 40 turns to use Tackle before it starts struggling. So as far as Beldum dealing any damage to you, you really are not going to have to worry about that. You're going to be safe to false swipe it, but I would definitely recommend bringing something like an Amoonguss or anything that knows Spore. Spore is a 100% chance to sleep the opponent. You can use Hypnosis if you want, but Hypnosis can miss, so that's why I recommend Spore. Also, Sleep is the status condition that improves your catch chances the greatest, so that's another thing to keep in mind. And also, bring some Timer Balls with you, because if you are in the encounter for a while, then Timer Balls will eventually become your best friends. Another thing to keep in mind is that if there is weather here that will end up damaging the Beldum, so hail or sandstorm, I actually have never seen a sandstorm here, so I actually don't know if it's possible. I imagine it would be. But for any weather that can damage a Beldum, I would recommend bringing a Pokemon that has an ability like Drizzle or Drought, so that you can change the weather just by switching and bringing in a new Pokemon, rather than having to use a move and rely on the 5 power points that Rain Dance or Sunny Day will have. Okay, the next Pokemon on our list is Walrun. Now, there's a few different ways that you can hunt for Walrun. If there is snow over here at 3 Point Pass in the Frigid Sea area, then you can find a strong spawn Walrun here. and then you can head out into the water and head over to this island here in the middle that's got like the little beach at the bottom of it. This is also the island where you find the Cobalion spawn if you've done all of the footprints for Cobalion and then spoken to Sonia. There's a bunch of different Sveal and Celio and a Walrun spawn right here. And then also in the grass here, in addition to all these big Avalogs, you can find Sveals spawn as overworld spawns in the grass here. So there's a few different ways that you can hunt yourself a Walrun if you like. Walrun also doesn't have any moves that damage itself, so you are fully safe to false swipe it. It does know Sheer Cold, so it can potentially one-shot some of your team members, so just keep that in mind, but it will never do any damage to itself until it starts to struggle. The next Pokemon on our list is Absol. Now, Absol will only spawn if there is a blizzard. There's a bunch of different locations where Absol can spawn, but my personal recommendation is you hunt for Absol in the Snowslide Slope. You can also hunt for Absol on the little path that has all of the trees when you're headed right up to the shrine at the very, very top of the tundra. But again, it will only spawn in a blizzard. You can get Absol spawning in the grass here, as well as some of these out-of-grass spawns heading all the way up the snowslide slope here. But again, it is only in a blizzard. One thing that you'll need to keep in mind if you plan to hunt Absol this way is that Absol will know the move Perish Song. What Perish Song does is it puts all the Pokemon on the field at the time that the move is used on a 3-turn clock, and after those 3 turns, both Pokemon will faint. You can save your Pokemon from fainting by switching it out, but there is no way to protect the Absol from fainting if it uses Perish Song. So, the only way around this is for you to bring a Gengar that knows both Perish Song and Imprison. And then what you'll want to do is the very first turn that you encounter your shiny Absol is you will use Imprison. That will prevent Absol from using any moves that Gengar also knows. And because your Gengar will also know Perish Song, if Absol tries to use Perish Song, it will fail. That's the only real problem that you have with Absol. It doesn't know anything like Double Edge or Takedown, so it won't ever damage itself, but you will have to come prepared to deal with Perish Song. Alternatively, you can just bring a Master Ball if you want, and try to catch it before it uses Perish Song, and then on the final turn, just chuck a Master Ball. That also works, but if you don't want to waste a Master Ball this way, then Gengar with Perish Song Imprison is the way to go. The next Pokemon on the list is Relicanth. Now, Relicanth can only be found in one location in the tundra, and that is in the water that fully encircles the bird tree. There's a Relicanth right here, as you can see. It is a semi-low spawn chance, so you may have to do a lot of biking around the water here. Now, something that you have to keep in mind with Relicanth is that Relicanth will know Double Edge. Double Edge will do damage to the Relicanth if it uses it. So the best way around this is to bring a Ghost-type Pokemon, because Double Edge will not affect a Ghost type because it's a normal type move, and then in turn, Relicanth won't do any damage to itself. The next Pokemon on our list is Carbink. Now, I recommend hunting for Carbink in the Roaring Sea Caves. This is the cave that takes you from, like, the dead area in the Crown Tundra out to where the sea with the icebergs and everything is. So Carbink can be found all throughout this cave here. Carbink does not have any moves that damage itself, so you have really nothing to worry about when it comes to Carbink. It is a semi-low spawn, so you will tend to see a lot of Zubats and whatnot in here, but Carbink, again, will spawn all throughout the cave, so just do laps basically through the cave and then back out, and then you'll have a good chance of finding Carbinks. The next Pokemon on the list is Tortuga. Now, Tortuga can be found in the Frigid Sea area in most weather conditions. Again, just double check the Cerebi link that I'll have it down in the description. You can find it overworld on the beach here, as well as in the grass. It's very, very difficult to see in the grass, though, so looking for an overworld spawn out here is probably better. But the cool thing about the grass is that there's always 3 spawns. So if you see that there are 2 spawns, and then they form a triangle, so there's the 2 ice cues, and then over here, there's not another, you can't really see another spawn. That's a good indication that there is a Tortuga in the grass here. You can also ding your bell and see how there was a question mark there. There's a Tortuga that's right there in the grass. It's very, very tricky to see, but it's right down there, just underneath the bike. Again, very, very hard to see, but it's got a really, really nice shiny. And then the final Pokemon on our list is Spiritomb. Now, Spiritomb has some very specific steps that you need to follow in order to make it spawn. There is only one, but you can Masuda method it if you've already caught the Spiritomb in the tundra. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to come over here to where this tombstone is, and if you have not caught the Spiritomb yet, it will say something, I think, like, spread my voice. Then what you need to do is then you need to go online. So you'll need to connect yourself to the internet, and then you'll start to see a whole bunch of other players around the wild area in the tundra. It will also work on the Isle of Armor and in the mainland of Galar, but because a lot of people will be doing this here to get Spiritomb, there's a lot of people in this area, so it doesn't take very long. What you need to do is you need to speak to 32 different players while you're connected to the internet. Once you have done that, you come back to this tombstone here, and there will be a Spiritomb right in front of it. Now, you can use the camp method to reset this Spiritomb. So essentially what you do is you encounter it, and then you run away from it if it's not shiny, and then you then open up Pokemon Camp, and then exit out of camp, and then a new Spiritomb will spawn right where the other one did. So you can just, like, be right on top of the spawn location, and a new one will spawn. It is definitely a different Spiritomb. It has been tested multiple times. There have been many people that have successfully shiny hunted Spiritomb this way. But like I said, if you have already caught your Spiritomb here, you can Masuda method Spiritomb. So there you go, folks. 10 amazing shinies that you can hunt in the Crown Tundra. Again, if you are watching this video before Saturday, November the 28th, I would like to invite you to come join us for our community shiny hunts that will be starting at 9 a.m. on November the 28th. We are going to be hunting for shinies. Again, the theme is Pokemon that returned in the Crown Tundra, but the cool thing is that you do not need to have Pokemon Sword and Shield in order to participate in the community shiny hunt. It's open to any game, any hunting method, with charm, without charm, whatever you want to do. Just the theme that we are hunting is Pokemon that returned in the Tundra. So if you want to hunt for an Absol, but you don't have Sword and Shield, but you do have a Gen 6 game or another game where you can hunt Absol, that is completely fine. And what we like to do is anybody that does get a shiny, we like to add all of those images to the overlay, and by the time the community hunt is done, we've got an overlay filled with all of the different shinies that our community caught that day. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you are new. Thank you everybody again so much for watching this video. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.